Welcome back to Numbers Don't Lie. The trade deadline just happened, and your fantasy roster looks a little different than it did 48 hours ago, whether you made a move or not. The Bulls shipped out 8 players in 7 trades. Anthony Davis got traded to Washington, where he can trade notes on sideline outfits with Trae Young. James Harden is now on his 6th team, you guys. His 6th team. Cam Thomas got waived because the Nets just couldn't find anywhere else to trade him. And the Grizzlies, the poor Grizzlies, had to deal with Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah because they couldn't find any takers for John Morant. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get into the fantasy winners and losers, starting with the biggest winners.
Shooting percentages remain high in this game. Dallas 55%, San Antonio 54%.
Cooper Flagg is averaging 20.1 points, 6.6 rebounds, 4.2 assists on 48.5% shooting. And that was with 20 games of Anthony Davis. But Davis is gone and Kyrie's still rehabbing his ACL. Dallas is Cooper Flagg's team now. That was true a month ago, but the front office made it official by clearing out every veteran who wasn't bolted to the floor. We flagged him as a buy low option 2 weeks ago, and since then he has put up top 5 value. Expect a top 20 guy for the rest of the season.
That was good ball movement by the Bucks. So there's your selling.
The night Vucevic was traded, Buzelis dropped 22 points and a career-high 5 blocks. The Bulls made it clear that he and Giddey are untouchable. Everybody else was available, and they proved it. Over his last 16 games, 15.6 points, 5.3 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 2.6 threes, and 1.7 blocks. With Vooch gone, Buzelis is the only player on this roster who can score, rebound, block shots, and hit threes. His minutes are going up, his usage is going up, and Donovan has no real alternative. Chicago did get some players back. Anthony Simons, Jaden Ivey, Rob Dillingham, Colin Sexton, but none of them changed the equation for Buzelis.
I'm not sure about Nick Nurse. Had to be holding his breath a little bit. And watch that. Yeah.
Garland hasn't played since January 14th because of a right toe injury and was on track for his worst fantasy season since his rookie year. But in LA, he becomes a primary ball handler. Harden was taking 17 shots a game and running the show. That role is now Garland's. The Clippers play faster than Cleveland, and there's only Kawhi to worry about in terms of ball dominance. The buy window is while he's still sitting on someone's IR spot in your league. Once he's healthy and dropping 20 and 7 in LA, no one's selling.
Collins. Well, he's been good tonight.
Zubac has gone to Indiana. Harden has gone to Cleveland. The Clippers just removed 2 of their most reliable sources of offense and replaced them with Garland, Mathurin, and Vibes. Collins goes from being asked to spread the floor to being asked to score closer to the rim, which is more in line with his natural game. Now let's look at some winners who might still be on your waiver wire.
Down Ty Jerome here. On the pick and pop, Aldama for 3. Got it.
Memphis shipped Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah for Kyle Anderson, Walter Clayton Jr., Taylor Hendricks, Georges Niang, and 3 first-round picks. None of those incoming players averaged more than 7.1 points this season. Aldama was already 3rd on the Grizzlies in scoring at 14 a game. Now, the primary frontcourt option is gone, and Memphis has openly entered tank mode. GG Jackson jumped 12% in roster adds in a single day after the trade. Watch the whole rotation, but Aldama is the most fantasy-ready name in Memphis.
Over to Simons from downtown, no, and Smith active on the glass.
The Bulls traded away their starting center, their starting shooting guard, and most of their bench. Jalen Smith is now the projected starting center on a team that looks fundamentally different than it did a week ago. If you need points, boards, and the occasional 3 without your percentages being imploded, he's the play. Just know, though, that Chicago's roster is probably going to get rearranged again before April.
Penetrated again, Yabusele has to kick it out. Ivy, good.
Detroit just didn't know what to do with Ivy. Chicago might not either, but at least they're going to let him figure it out. He won't help your percentages, he never has, but the minutes and usage are going up. He's a restricted free agent after the season, so the Bulls have every incentive to give him the ball and see what happens.
Ethan Thompson fades, in and out, no good. Isaiah Jackson puts it in.
Jackson had a chance to win Indiana's starting center spot at the beginning of the season, then lost it to Jay Huff, which, if you're keeping score, means he lost a starting job to a guy who's about to lose his. Now he's in LA sharing a front court with John Collins, Brook Lopez, and a rookie whose name I'm scared to pronounce. I don't know what the Clippers' rotation looks like right now, and honestly, I don't even think they know. There's shot blocking upside if he carves out 20 plus minutes, but that's a big if on a team still figuring out who's doing what after trading away their best big man. Now, let's look at players to take a flyer on if you have a free roster spot.
Inside to Horford. Santos, he'll put up a three. Wow.
The Warriors traded Kuminga and Buddy Hield to Atlanta for Porzingis, which is great news for Golden State's wing rotation. Santos is that wing. He's not going to start, but on a team that runs its offense through Steph Curry, open looks come in bunches, and someone's getting them. In deeper formats, Santos is worth the speculative ad, especially if Porzingis misses time, which historically is less of an if and more of a when.
Four has been a rapidly moving fourth quarter. Niederhauser, cruel intentions for the Iron.
His name takes up a third of the character limit on most fantasy apps, but 25 minutes in his last game is 25 minutes, and on a team that just traded their starting center, that number could grow. The Clippers are figuring out their front court in real time. If Giannis keeps getting runs, he's a speculative ad in deeper formats.
Will Riley puts it on the deck, spins in the lane, fires from it.
Riley is a developmental player on a team with no reason to win, which means he's going to get minutes the way everyone gets minutes in Washington, by being available. If you're someone who likes to gamble on end-of-season rotations, Riley could look to benefit the most. Here is the other side. Some of these guys changed teams, some watched teammates leave, and some got put in situations where their fantasy ceiling got lower.
AD had it for a moment, double pump, Anderson blocked by Davis. Dallas comes the other way.
Dallas the aggressors right now.
Anthony Davis.
Davis has played 29 games over 2 partial seasons in Dallas. He's now in Washington with a hand injury on a team that's 14-36 and taking hard for a lottery pick they have to keep. The Wizards have zero incentive to play him in useless games when they need him healthy for next season. We're not going to put up a number of games we think he's going to play, but it's going to be low.
Trey, down the lane, puts it up, hits it, and a...
Same such as AD, but worse. Young was traded to Washington from Atlanta last month, but hasn't played a single game for the Wizards. He's dealing with quad and knee issues and won't be reevaluated until after the All-Star break. Washington just acquired 2 All-Stars who are both currently injured on a team that needs to lose. Young's upside when healthy is obvious. The man led the league in assists last year, but the games played projections just took a serious hit.
Nice pass that time by
Vooch in Boston is interesting for the Celtics and boring for fantasy. He fills a rebounding need and can stretch the floor, but this isn't Chicago, where he was a focus on the offensive end. The usage shrinks, the shots shrink, the counted stats shrink. This is top 80 Vooch, not top 50 Vooch. Still good, but no longer great.
To get back into the game, particularly against these high-level players.
A move that makes much more sense for next season when Hallie returns from his torn Achilles. Right now, Indiana is headed to the lottery, with their first round pick going to the Clippers if it falls outside their protection range. There's a real chance the Pacers lean into the tank. If Indiana decides lottery odds matter more than development, Zubac's minutes get managed. Watch that, but don't panic just yet.
Down your throat and make it pay. Answer back.
We talked Kobe up as a buy low target. Now he's in Charlotte and the ceiling just got stapled to the floor. The Hornets already have LaMelo Ball and Concanoble running the show. White averaged 19 points in Chicago because someone had to shoot. In Charlotte, that volume evaporates. He doesn't get enough assists, steals, or blocks to make up for the scoring drop. Hold if you own him, but lower your expectations.
You hear some of their vets, a guy like Michael Conley saying, let's not let her...
Utah gave up 3 first-round picks for JJJ, which means they want him long-term. But the Jazz owe a top 8 protected pick to Oklahoma City, and they have every reason to keep losing this season. Utah's willingness to sit players for the rest is well documented. It's practically a franchise tradition at this point. Don't panic trade, but don't be surprised if he sits out some games.
Thomas in the corner, connects.
The Nets tried to trade him, but nobody wanted him, so they waived him. Thomas's self-assessment after being released: elite scoring, good playmaking, good combo guard. Here's the other side of that. The Nets' defensive rating with Thomas on the court this season was 122.7, dead last in the league. That's a net negative wearing a basketball jersey. Whatever team signs him isn't letting him put up 14 shots a night. He's going somewhere as a bench scorer, which means fewer minutes, fewer shots, and a much smaller fantasy footprint.
Cookies.
Mathurin spent his time in Indiana waiting for a role that never fully arrived. Now he's in LA, where the Clippers are going to ask him to be a two-way wing in a system that values defense. His efficiency might improve playing alongside better players, but his shot attempts are going down an offense that already has Kawhi, Collins, and eventually Garland ahead of him in the pecking order.
Shot fake, firm feet.
Great time. He dropped that one.
The J-Huff experience. October 2025, Feb 2026. It was a fun ride. Zubac takes the starting role. Huff moves to a backup role. He's still streamable when Zubac sits, but the top 50 value he was putting up is now gone. If you rode that wave, it was fun while it lasted.
Three doesn't go over the back.
Nurkic was on a run before this trade. He strung together some of the best games of his season. The rebounds were there. The assists were up, and he looked like a guy who was gearing up for the silly season. Then, Jaren Jackson walked through the door, and Nurkic is the odd man out in a front court that just got a lot more crowded. The minutes that were trending up are now trending down.
Slip away right before you get to the break.
We talked him up earlier this season as a waiver wire gem. Then Harden arrived. Cleveland just got significantly deeper at guard, and Tyson's minutes are about to be squeezed. The gem is losing its shine. Hold, but don't expect the production we saw when half of Cleveland was in walking boots.
Pritchard leaning and throwing the lob to
Queta has been a solid starter for Boston all season, but Vucevic just walked through the door, and Queta is moving to a backup role. Fantasy value is about minutes, and those just got cut.
Responsibility, teams can key in on him more. Bridges for three.
Bridges was already trending down before the deadline, and the real problem isn't even the trade, it's Concanople. The rookie has been eating into Bridges' scoring role all season. Charlotte adding Kobe White on top of that just makes it worse. That's another high usage scorer in a backcourt that already had LaMelo Ball running everything. Bridges' shot attempts have been dipping, and nothing about this deadline reverses that trend. And that's the deadline. Winners, losers, and a lot of roster chaos. Go check your wire. With this many players changing teams, there are guys available in your league who shouldn't be. Good luck out there.